Okay guys, I wanted to talk to you about just a couple things, not too long. Where's my pen? There it is. I want to talk to you about a couple things, have a few notes. Happy New Year to those of you who celebrate. Happy Rosh Hashanah. I kind of can't even believe that I'm making this video right now because I just ate this. It's my coldie. I just ate this huge meal, and you know, I'm food drunk, but I've got a couple things on my mind, and I have a couple things on my mind, and I wanted to make a video. So you know me. I mean, if you know me at all, if you know my work, if you know me from being on Kirsten's show on Third Eye Champagne, you should follow her. If you know me at all, then you know I don't like to be on camera. I don't like to be on camera ever. If I could be invisible, I would be totally invisible, and I'm always playing with my hair. So when the urge comes, you know, that I need to sit here and talk to you, then I listen to it. I listen to it, I respect it, and I try to do the thing. So we're going to try to do the thing. All right, two things. And, you know, I will draw a card or two, but I want to talk to you about some astrology that's this week. Now, this is not all the astrology, by any means. This is not all the astrology of this week, but these are two very important events. First thing is that planet Mars goes into Aquarius tonight. Sorry, I'm like really full. I'm really full, and I'm trying to breathe through my very full stomach. So Mars enters Aquarius tonight, and this is a very big deal because Mars was retrograde almost all summer, and it went retrograde in this sign. It went retrograde in Aquarius back to late Capricorn, so it is finally leaving Capricorn and entering Aquarius again. And once it gets past, I think it's 8 degrees, I can't remember, I don't have the numbers on my notes. Gets past 8 degrees or 9, then we're out of the shadow, and then it's the Mars in Aquarius transit that we haven't had yet. You know, we haven't had anything past 10, possibly past 9 of Mars in Aquarius. Now, I think this is a fix, meaning whatever the summer disrupted for you, whatever the delays were, various problems. Now, this is specific to your chart. So whatever was happening in your chart, in particular, that Mars retrograde was messing up, it's going to be fixed. It's going to be fixed. Important to remember, Mars is your energy. Mars is your drive. Mars is your passion, desire. Mars fights. Mars is war. Mars is your sex drive. See, I'm talking about Mars and Venus today in this video. And they are linked because Mars is forward and going back into the sign that it retrograded in, and we're going to talk about Venus going back. So you see, Venus, there's a hand gesture I need for this, and I'm trying to make it not a dirty one. So, okay, let's say this is Mars and this is Venus, right? They're linked, of course, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, wherever you align yourself on the spectrum of masculinity and femininity. So Mars is your sex drive. Mars is your passion. Mars is your fighting spirit. Mars is your blood. There's an old Facebook friend of mine. Well, she's not old, but I've known her for a while because I used to be her dog walker years ago in New York. And I was on Facebook, as I usually am, preaching, screaming about the astrology in my writing, and I was saying, Mars is your blood. Mars is your blood. Your blood is back. With Mars going direct, your blood is back. And then all of a sudden I started talking about Venus and that stuff coming up, and she was, you know, concerned. You know, I just got my blood back. How do I handle all this? But you can handle it. You can handle it. We're going to handle it together. Just keep coming back to my videos, and we will handle it. Or even better, actually, follow me on Facebook. Read me on Facebook, and you will get a handle on this stuff. And I'm really hoping I don't have food in my teeth. It's a distinct possibility. Yes, Goldie, my love. So, tonight, and I don't think it's happened yet in any time zone, but I'm not positive, because if there's one thing that I always leave off of my notes, it will be the dates of things and the times of things, which is, I know, it's not really normal for an astrologer, but, you know, it's in the book. It's in the book, but the book's in the other room. Okay, you know, I'm learning how to edit on iMovie, which I know is very simple, but hard for me. But I might just leave this thing, you know, one big piece with all the awkwardness. Okay, so tonight, Mars, your passion, guys, your passion. It's going back into Aquarius. It's entering Aquarius. It's going into the sign that it left. So it's not only a fix, it's a whole new story. There's a whole new story coming. It's both. Will there be a new passion? Maybe. Will there be something new and exciting in your sex life? Maybe. Maybe there will. Maybe there will. Is there anything else I want to say about that? Let's consult the notes. Oh, metaphors, stories. That's one of my favorite metaphors, is when I call things a story. So there is a Mars retrograde story that you are returning to, continuing, finishing, and fixing, and there's going to be a new one, okay? There's going to be a new one. And the other big news that I want, actually, before I mention the other big news, let me say generally, all of this, the stuff I'm talking about right now, meaning all of this really is about your desire, your love life, your sex life, because we're talking about Mars and Venus. I mean, yes, these planets represent other things, but you may be someone who was in the middle of something and then it got thwarted for some reason. Or you may be one of these people who's been, you know, single for 50 years and then all of a sudden you stop being single. It's that kind of energy, coming and going, returning to the story. Okay, the other big news. The other big news, and I turned off the fan so that it wouldn't compete with my voice, and now I'm starting to schwitz. The other big news is Venus. Of course, love. Also desire. Mars and Venus to me are both about desire, but Mars is of course more, you know, aggressive. Right, Goldie? Okay. Venus entered Scorpio on Sunday. Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. So we've got a lot of energies in the mix here. Venus entered Scorpio on Sunday. She's going to retrograde in October. It's early September as I'm filming this. I think it's the 10th. She's going to go retrograde in October. So just keep that in mind. She's going to leave Scorpio and go back to the previous sign, which is Libra. But the thing about this week is that Venus is going to oppose Uranus. Uranus is in Taurus. Those of you who follow any astrology at all, you probably know that we had this very important sign change, which happened, I believe, in May. Pretty sure it was May, that Uranus finally left Aries after 7-8 years. Left Aries, is now in Taurus. So this is why the Taurians, you know, and the Scorpios, and the Leos, and the Aquarians, those 4 signs, their lives are going to radically change over the next 7, 8, 8.5 years. Radically change. Not for everyone at once, but you'll see. You'll see. There's going to be falls from grace, and there's going to be the opposite. You know, the wheel's going to turn in various directions depending on who you are. You know, massive lifting up, you know, fame and fortune, and then, you know, plummeting for the fixed signs. It's going to be radical, you guys. It's going to be revolutionary. But Venus, love, desire, she is making an opposition, the opposition aspect to this Uranus in Taurus. And this is hot, you guys. This is hot, okay? Venus in Scorpio is sexy, seductive. Is she not? She is. I don't want to talk too much about her nature than to just say those things. She is sexy and seductive, and she's going to be opposing which I'm not interpreting necessarily as conflict. Think of it as having a conversation with or interacting with. He's going to be opposing lusty Uranus in Taurus retrograde. Now that's about, I feel like that's about as lusty as it gets. Like this combination, sexy, seductive Venus in Taurus, having a candlelit dinner with Uranus, wild, in Taurus, sensual and earthy. And it's retrograde, which I think makes Uranus even more wild, especially in this combination. So I don't even know what warning to give you, except I don't know. I think there is no one size fits all with this. You know, there never really is, especially with this. There is no one size fits all, because some of you are going to have love coming out of the blue and you should say yes. Some of you are going to have old lovers come out of the blue, and some of you should say yes, and some of you should say no. Some of you are going to have crazy, kinky sex, and if you want that, then say yes, and if you don't want it, then say no. I mean, it's going to be wild, okay? And this theme is throughout the rest of this year, because Venus is going to retrograde, and Uranus is retrograde, and they're going to meet 3 times to have this conversation. But you know what? I think it's going to be a few different conversations, but all in this domain of love and sex and self-esteem, relationships, self-esteem. I think this is an underestimated part of the Venus story, or the Venus symbolism, is our self-worth and how we feel about ourselves. Because I mean, you may be one of these people who doesn't have a partner, doesn't want a partner. Like, that's just not your thing. It's not on your mind, in your mind. And this journey is going to be entirely different than this whole, you know, hot sex thing. All right, let's consult the notes. Did we get through everything? Yeah, love and sex stories, you guys. Love and sex stories. Love and sex stories throughout the rest of 2018. For some of you, it will be very hot. For all of you, I think it will be very interesting. Now, as I always say, pay attention, because with transits are where the planets are now and how they affect us. With transits, sometimes it's inner, you know, it's an inner journey, inner dialogue, inner transformation, and sometimes it's outer, it's something in the world, and sometimes it's both. So you're gonna have to tell me, but you might not be able to tell me until January. You know, tell me in January. Tell me January 1st what happened late summer and fall of 2018, so that we can keep track of this, because I believe that this is the story of 2018. Well, of this fall. I was going to say, I don't know if there's any other story but the story we had this summer with Mars retrograde and Mercury retrograde and the eclipses and all the other retrogrades. Like, that's, I don't know if there's anything that could compete with how hard that was. So now we have this. Now we have this, and I think it's going to be very, very interesting. If you want to talk to me about this, if you want to talk to me about anything else, just look in the description box, because that's where all my information will be. My readings page, which has the prices and everything, my Patreon, so you can get more videos and other stuff. The special requests actually are on my Patreon, where I read on stuff that I never do here, like political things or celebrity things, which I've done a little bit of, but now I've brought it over to the patrons. My book, I'll put that link below, and Facebook and Twitter, and I think that's everything. I think that's everything, you guys. I will just see you next time.